Welcome to Kohler Andrae State Park, Winter Camping Edition. One drawback to winter camping here is you gotta go to Quick Trip to get your firewood. There's nothing local that I could find, and no camp hosts at this time of year. One of the best parts about winter camping at Kohler Andrae, if you've ever tried to book a site here, there are two other campers here tonight. And we are right around freezing. It's not like super cold. And the sites are electric, so I have my little space heater going on inside my van, which is over there in the dark. So when I go to bed, it's gonna be nice and toasty, and I don't have to use a propane heater. The biggest drawback I have to winter camping is the lack of daylight. It's less than 6 o'clock right now, and my day is about done. When the fire's gone, it's time to crawl in, crawl back out as soon as there's a little twinkle of light in the morning. All right, good morning now from Kohler Andrae State Park. So, time to give you the winter camping tour. What can you camp at Kohler Andrae State Park in the winter? What do they keep clear? Well, first off, we're going to start down here along the entrance road. So Kohler Andrae has taken advantage of, and to grow their sites, I guess, this stretch that was the entrance road in to the campgrounds, and paved off the side and created a few more sites. So as you come in from down here, this is your first site, 39. So I'm going to do these a little out of order because I'm going to start with 39 here. So this is an electric site here. You park along the side. Know that this is pedestrian way, bike path, whatever. It's not yours. You're parking over here, camping up on the hill. There's a nice place for a tent pad over here. 40 here. This one's set a little further back in the woods, so parking here. Yes, you can have an RV here, but there's a tent pad on, looks like a house. Well, I guess that's probably wood up there. Picnic table and fire ring. 41 here. 41 is very long. It does have some weird bumpiness in the middle here. Just be aware of that. Picnic table, fire ring, and then trails up into other areas of the park. Some beautiful trees here though. And that's all of them for this stretch. Now in the winter, of course, you can't go down to the turnaround at the end to come back. So if you have a really big rig, and this one could handle something pretty big, I don't know where you turn it around. All right, for the season, the rest of the campground is closed except for 1 through 38. And there are a couple of sites in here that are also not available for the winter. So we're starting off with the one, it slopes downhill, electric. All of this loop is electric. So that slopes down, plenty of room for tents and stuff back there. Site 2 over here, slight downward slope, not too bad. And trail heading off that way for snowshoeing. All right, site 3 at the split here. Nice big, this is one of the bigger ones here. A little bit of an upward whoop at the end there. And then we split off. I'm going to head off that way after I check out the pump. Well, there is water access here in the winter, but you got either a drinking fountain or it's just dumping on your feet. Nothing you can put a bucket to, because the other ones are shut down for the winter. Also behind the split over there is a shower house. We'll pass by it again, but it is closed for the season. Then we have site 4 on our left here. Easy access to the shower bathroom during the summer. pretty darn flat. 5 good flat 1, 2. This one gives you the whole side yard at the corner, but the balls will roll down into the road. Okay, site 6 on the inside loop here. And judging by all the swirly marks, they do a good job of trying to keep it clear in the winter. Site 7 over here. I don't know, they didn't plow that one. It's a little longer, a little more space over there. Okay, site 8, it's on the ground. Over here, on the edge of the loop here, this one will back up to neighbors on the other side a little bit. That's a different loop over there. Site 9, not too long, little downward slope to it. Site 11 here, it's got a little slope to the left when you're looking in here. Lots of room to play, set up games or whatever around that. Got some trails off on the other side. 10 and 12 are over here, a little smaller. I don't know if these are considered a pair or not, but they would make a great pair of sites. Currently not available in the winter. That's why the tables are there, but once the summer season starts, those will open up again. 13 is also closed for the season, but we'll take a good look at that. Again, near the bathrooms now, still electric sites. This one's got a little more length than the last two. 14 over here on the inside circle, plenty of green space around you. And then we have the shower house, which is men's and women's, separate sides. There's laundry services up here in the summer, and then a shelter that can be rented. And then beach is right down there in the day use area. The only other occupied site for tonight was 15 over here. $16 over here on the inside loop. It's 17 over here. It gets a little slopey off to the right. Site 18 here. This one's kind of interesting because it has a drop off at the end, so, and trees at the back end, so don't even think about trying to put anything larger here than they suggest. However, got a great little space back there for a bunch of tents if you wanted, that are a little more isolated than others. Oh, it backs up to its neighbors. There's another site that shares that space. 19 over here, a little bit of a slope up going in, but not too bad. 20 over here, that's a nice flat one. Fire ring and picnic table off to the right. Yeah, I know you're there. You're always there. 21 here. And I'm hiding over at 22. And the reason I chose this site, since all the finished bathrooms are closed, the pit toilets are off right over here. So that was right off the back of my campsite. And know that there is a trail that comes off the back that people will be going past. So picnic table, fire ring, still got to clean up from last night. I hate the fact that every time you buy firewood it comes wrapped in plastic. Got to get rid of that. All right, after my morning muffin break, let's continue on this winter tour. All right, for some reason I'm hitting 24 between 23, but here's 24 on the inside. This one's got a bit of a slope to start, but then it flattens out downhill on the rest of that one. There's a lot of contours to this campground. 23 over here. This one's actually a little wider in the back than most are on the paved portion. 25, very narrow. Now, at this point, we're starting to back up to the entrance road and a whole parking lot. And one of the good reasons for a parking lot is if you have one of these sites and you have a bigger rig, your rig might fit, but your truck may not. So you just park over there where that pickup truck is parked, and you can fit a bigger rig in and still be somewhat convenient. So this is 26 here, 27 over here. And I say that because there's really no room to park on the road here. 28 over on the right. All right, that kind of ends the main loop here. This site doesn't really exist anymore. I don't quite know what it is. Campground host would be down there. Got a more basic bathroom over here. We're gonna go backwards down this little middle section that we didn't get with the split back after site 3. Actually, we'll just go all the way back down there. Okay, past the pump, we get 29 over on the right, which backs up to the shower house. Big green space for that one. Doesn't seem to be shared with anybody. Oh, I missed one. Sorry. This is 29 here. 29 is over here. Fire pit and fire ring over here. 31 is over there. So for some reason 29 did not get plowed last time. That's kind of why I missed it. All right, 31 over there. 30 over here. Now, as far as winter camping goes, and that's when I'm taking this tour, you can come look at the sites, see the conditions of the sites, book it on site using the wisconsingoingtocamp.com on site and not have to pre-book. You may want to just check before you come that the sites are, a whole bunch of sites are available, but there's no sense in pre-booking if you don't know what the conditions are going to be like in the winter. Summer, totally different story, book ahead. All right, oops, okay, 32, definitely a back in. Very narrow little spot to squeeze into between the trees. Fire pit and picnic table over there. All right, 33. Decent sized site and decent sized site to play on. Lots of grass space over there. 34 over here. Again, lots of green space. You know, it's working sharing with the neighbors. So if you were to get, where were we? 32, 34, and 36 as a family, book those early for the summer. Be a great shared area here. It would also be great to book 33 and 35 as a shared space. They're not sold as a pair, but it gives you lots of room to play. Be aware here at 35, these trees are right on the edge of the pad. Not a lot of room to maneuver in there. All right, this is 36. 36 is a wide site. This is wide enough that you could have your rig and your car or truck separate, side by side in it. That's one of the few, I think, that has that ability. 37 over on the right, small site there, not very big. 38 over here, a little harder to get in. That's like a 90 degree to the road, so not the easiest to back into. And that's it for the winter camping section at Kohler Andrae State Park. Quite a few sites available. Not a lot of people winter camp. It's got electric. There is water, I think, available over at the dump station. So thanks for coming along on this little tour. Hope it's useful. Hopefully it gets more people out in the winter. Because this is when you can have Kohler Andrae State Park almost to yourself, except for the day walkers. And there's a lot of people come here and just walk the campground with their dogs. So you get to see some beautiful dogs too. I'll see you on the next one. My next video probably is going to be the full tour of the campground. So when you're watching, you can skip over this part and watch the rest of it if you've already seen this section of the campground. I'll see you in the next one. Get on out there. And I'm still looking for deer.